You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I hope wherever you are in the world and whatever you're doing, you are doing very well. You're about to listen to my conversation with a bloke called Luke Fox. He has a new EP in market. It is called Sugarloaf. We talk all about that and a host of other very interesting subjects. So let's cut to the chat with Luke. Here we go. Things off because the new EP Sugarloaf is a beautifully constructed blend of summer sounds, breezy pop, and what I really like most about the album is the manner in which the cuts have been recorded and engineered, because I'm a musician myself, so I tend to listen to that. And also, too, probably the crowning piece on the album is that there is a very honest sound across the EP that gives it a bit of a live feel, which is bloody hard to actually do properly. But in your own words, mate, what does the EP mean to you?
Oh, well, and it means a great deal. It's a narrative, start to finish, really, of the last few years of my life. It's basically a testament to home and always being from the southwest and being drawn to it whilst living in the city for work. And various relationships you have through that time, and then different decisions you're making, and some of the stress it can bring you, and events like illness in the family as well. So there's a whole bunch of personal stuff that goes in there, and I guess it is sort of chronological as well. So whilst I guess the tracks are quite individually have their own flavours and own little vibes, it's very much a connected piece of work in the EP, so I think that's what I like most about it, mate.
I really enjoy the track Fly in the Champagne, and also noticed that all of the other tracks have singular titles, but this one here, it's got 4 words. So what's this one all about?
Yeah, sure. Look, that one's a track I wrote for a good friend of mine who went through a breakup, and he was really struggling. And one day we were out and about, and we ran into his ex-girlfriend with a new guy, and he just sort of broke down and was having a really hard time. So it was rough. So we bailed work and chucked a sickie, and we ended up going on a little road trip. It was an epic little time together. I was in California at the time, and he was a photographer and working at a bar, so I should say he chucked some sickies. But yeah, we went on the road and we surfed, and yeah, that track is about spending time with your mate to sort of heal. And it was a little photography surf expedition north from Los Angeles, so it was really nice.
So Matt Gio, he produced the EP. So for those who don't know that are listening, he produced Birds of Tokyo. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, he did. He's worked with some great artists like Birds of Tokyo, Abby May, Split Seconds as well, which I really like, and I liked his work with. And then a number of great Perth artists. Every day of the week. He's a brilliant guy and very groove based. So he contributed a lot of that to the EP.
So what advice did he give to you that you think really enhanced the outcome of all of the songs on the EP? So if he wasn't doing it and the advice wasn't given, what was the piece of advice that he gave to you that really think made his contribution so unique or special?
I think Matt was great at just creating a really good environment to record this music in. So when we were mixing and bringing a number of different melodies and ideas together, he just made sure that we were in a really good space together. We had fun. We were relaxed. There wasn't any press. We took our time and got really good results. So I think the advice he gave was more about just creating a really nice environment to work in. And he did contribute some great ideas when I would have sort of melodies on melodies, and we really liked the ideas of chase. So, with the sort of, rather than counter melodies just up and down, we had sort of melody chase and sort of cannoning with some of the some of the delay on some of the dots, I guess. So he brought together some really nice ideas and just transformed some of the riffs and melodies into something a little bit cleverer, I think.
Okay, sweet, yeah. Now, you might have already alluded to this in your comments about the influences, if you like, the lyrical influences, but I do talk a lot about inspiration on my show because I think it's very important for listeners to know what drives an artist to create. So what inspired you to create not just the music on the EP, but what inspires you to create music in general? Because no doubt you're a talented bloke and you could have done probably a lot of different things, but music is your main muse from the sounds of things.
Yeah, look, I'm by trade. I'm a professional firefighter. So
Uh-huh.
it's a
Yeah.
so it's a very different world and landscape to the creative space as a musician. But music's something I've always had a passion for. I never had a musical education. I grew up in a small country town in southwest Australia. On a farm, and didn't really have any advice or influences around me to guide me. So I learnt what I could hear, and I'm just self-taught. And I kept it to myself for quite a long time. And anything lyrically or inspirational, and I guess the tones and the sounds and the way I want to make music is really a tribute to the Southwest. It's a beautiful place, and I'm very much influenced by my environment. And now in Perth, with writing new tracks, I'm living right on the beach in a very nice suburb of Perth. A 1960s beach shack. So
Awesome.
I guess I'm very much influenced by my environment. And this EP draws to the southwest of Australia for sure. And what I love about music, it's definitely a big part to me. And it's only very recently that I decided to be really proactive about it and putting effort into it, and that's, I guess, the result is this EP.
Look, you've mentioned something in there, and I know you've mentioned it a few times through the discussion, but Western Australia and Perth, in my view, they're the hotbed of Australian music in 2018. I've spoken to Ben Kelly, Marksman Lloyd, Reams, Johnny Taylor, and about 5 or 10 other artists. There's been a lot. Easily the majority of the interview subjects that I receive are actually offshore, so Europe and North America. But in terms of Australian artists, well over 60 or 70% are coming from Perth at the moment, with new releases and touring and that sort of thing. What's your take on why the scene in the West is so strong compared to the rest of Australia? Because, I'll put that out there because I think it is.
Yeah, it's lovely to hear. I totally agree with you that it's a very hot place right now with some amazing artists making amazing music. The community is really tight. It feels like it's incubated in a little boiling pot, and there's so much collaboration and ideas and players playing across different bands, and everyone really just encouraging and a supportive environment, certainly in Perth. And it's only been recently that I'm sort of meeting and networking my way through the community here, but everyone's bloody fantastic and so talented. And same for the southwest of Australia, certainly in small places, anyone creating knows anyone, and whether that's across every media, whether it's photography, film, surfing, art, making music, everyone that wants to share some form of expression really supports everyone else in their own space. So I think that what creates great music is an environment to foster it, and feel the best of themselves to then share the best of themselves. I think it's simply put like that, and there's a great sense of community from smaller places. Look, I've never been to the East Coast or played music there yet, so I can't really comment on how that might be different. But to me, I think that's sort of what I look at when I look at Western Australia.
Yeah, look, I've played music in Sydney before. I'm from Brisbane, and I really got the feeling that the bands are probably trying to climb over each other to be successful when it's just not necessary. And I'm not singling out Sydney specifically. I'm saying that's what my experience, because I was in Velveteen. But I've heard what you've mentioned many times about the scene in Perth, which is that people are helping each other just create a very productive, creative environment.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's very productive. All ideas are always getting thrown around, and definitely collaborative over competitive. To emphasise what you're talking about. I haven't encountered anything of the other kind here. So, that's certainly my impression thus far, mate. And the industry is really good too. There's some great management and promoters, as well as the WA Music Association, WAM, over here. So when they get around really talented artists, then they have those national opportunities, which is great.
Yeah, wonderful, mate. Yeah. So I just want to talk about the EP again, because one of the things that I really found that I enjoyed was the drum and bass guitar work across the album, the EP cuts. Now, they're not dominant, but they often set the mood in a very subtle way by providing a counterpoint to the vocal melody, and the song that I'd use as an example is Ghosts. So can you tell us about the band that you enlisted to record the EP's cuts?
Well, absolutely, man. And this has been my favourite part of the whole process of sharing this music and creating this project is bringing my mates into it and collaborating with them. So the groove for that track was from Matt Geo, my producer, and he's very groove based. And so as you're right, it's a beautiful counter to a melody focus in singer-songwriter mode. So, we can only talk about our ideas, and he just totally gets what I wanted to create. I'd write these songs and jam them and perform them with my friends as a band, as a four-piece. We take that, and then again, the same way he might enhance our ideas, he enhanced the groove too. So the way Matt records is really clever. It's all with room mics and occasionally a few samples and working things around, and he finds some beautiful tones, I think, and sounds with the drums, and percussion I really like. He spends a lot of time searching for just that right sound. If it's not right, he scraps it. So I think that's sort of what comes into play as well. And yeah, he's very clever. I guess everything's atypical, and he's with a background of sort of soul and groove with Matt. And
I can hear that, the soul
way he blends into singer-songwriter.
So the soul influence, I can definitely hear,
Yeah, and that stretched through a few of the tracks as well. Bass-wise is a very talented friend of mine, Adam Springhetti. One of the most talented humans I've ever met. He's an absolute monster with music, long-time professional, playing around Perth, and he plays full-time with us on this project. We're very friends, which is wonderful. And he sort of brings those bass lines together. I think in Reasons when we play live, he's playing 6/6, and it sounds huge. And then he can be subtle and beautiful as well with other more ambient tracks like Ghosts.
So on Ghost, is that an upright bass that he's playing?
Yeah, Ghosts is upright, absolutely. There's a cello intro to Reasons. Ghosts is upright, and what else we got? Obviously electric bass on a few tracks. But yeah, he's very, very clever with how he played, and you certainly play that live. It's stripped back, which is nice, and sort of a variation from the kind of, I guess, indie alt pop sound that we try and go for otherwise.
Yeah. Well, I think because of how, when I say earthen, you know what I mean. It's a very down-to-earth sound that you've got on there. It's going to live a very long life, this collection of songs here. It's not just going to be a collection of songs that sounds identifiably 2017 or 2018. It was obviously recorded in 2017, but, it's a sort of record that you'll be able to put on in, say, 10 to 15 years' time, and it'll still sound relevant and fresh. And I think a lot of that has got to do with the way it's been recorded and the instrumentation that you've just described. And also the songs are bloody good too. So the songs are there. You've got very good musicianship, and you've got someone that was able to capture the songs in the element that they were meant to be captured in.
Oh, look, that's lovely to hear. It's warmly. I've surrounded myself with people. Great talented friends to contribute. And there's their own flavour to it too. I've certainly got to recognise that. My mates, their flavour, and Matt, wonderful art producer, and Billy Bowden as a master did a great job as well. I think.
Okay,
sweet. I think he got it just right.
Yeah, no, agreed. Yeah, no, the whole package comes together beautifully, mate. So what's your ambition for the collection of songs here, mate? I mean, you're a well-rounded individual and that you've got a professional career to fall back on, but it's, obviously this is something that you want to take probably as far as you can. Mate, is, world dominance, Kiss style, is that in order, mate, or are you just looking for something a bit closer to home?
Mate, it's a really good question. My family after me is getting worried every day when they think about me leaving a career. Yeah. Mate, look, I'm all about experiences. If my life is richer because I get to share and write and perform music with my friends and enjoy having big nights out, playing shows, being around other artists and playing support slots for artists that I admire. A couple of festivals. It's been a remarkable addition to my life, and I think as long as music continues to enrich my life, then I'll keep playing it. This EP, I'll certainly be playing some shows around WA, and I really intend to make it to the East Coast in the second half of this year. And that's just going to be a matter of putting the dollars together as a group so we can make sure we do it in full. I don't want to do anything half-hearted, so I'm going to play shows on the East Coast and tour the EP. I want to do it with my boys, not as a solo stripped back thing. It just won't do it justice. So I guess any ambitions come with, the normal constraints that exist for anything. But we'll give it a red hot crack to keep sharing the music and writing more tunes. Make sure that as long as the experiences are rich, then we'll keep playing music.
Yeah, great answer to that one there. And mate, I've got one more question for you. And I've asked a lot of artists this particular question here, and I don't think I've ever got the same answer twice. So here I go. What's the greatest challenge that you've faced as a working musician or as an artist?
Greatest challenge for me personally,
Yep.
as a working musician, being new to the space and having some really significant opportunities very early, probably prematurely, I would say, is just balancing that vulnerability and openness to just giving it a red hot crack and not worrying about things and making sure it stays fun. As long as I think for me is just to be confident in the expression because it's still a very new early journey for me. The challenges thus far, but the more I have fun with my friends, the more the experiences keep rolling on, the more confident I'm in the journey. So I think for me it's just a time kind of thing. And as I keep playing and get more comfortable sharing these songs, I'll be able to get deeper and deeper into them and make everything richer.
Yeah, great response, mate. And finally, the listeners, how can they get in touch with you? I mean, in terms of listening to your music, I mean, there's obviously Facebook, but you're on Spotify, Apple Music, that sort of thing. And if they want to purchase physical copy, how do they do that?
Yeah, mate, I'm quite happy that I have got distribution set up. So you could buy physical copies via JB Hi-Fi, which will be released at the end of this week. And certainly encourage anyone that likes the music or wants to listen to it to stream it online. It's going to be available on all good digital platforms. End of this week and Friday. If anyone wants to chat or give me feedback on it or ask me questions, then I'm always happy to answer and chat with people via the social media too. It's been really nice to have people you don't know to send you messages about how they really enjoyed a song or what tracks mean to them, because music means something different to everyone who listens to it, I think. So
I think if the listener's looking for a point of reference, obviously I'm going to play a track of yours before the discussion goes to air, so I'll tend to play a track and then I'll put the interview afterwards and then I'll play another track at the end. But if anybody's looking for a reference, I think yourself and Cody Simpson are pretty similar. From a very different perspective, but that's what I've actually been doing. I've actually had Cody's music on and then I've been putting your music on at the same time, just to mix it up a little bit in a little bit of a playlist.
Awesome. Well, I've never heard that before. I really appreciate that, this conversation has been super refreshing. It's been great to have a chat and get some insight back from you as well into your perspectives on the EP and the music. So very grateful for that, mate. Thank you.
Cool, mate. Well, congratulations on a stellar EP, mate, and also for being a wonderful musician. And, mate, I'll be looking out for some shows over here in Brisbane or the Sunshine Coast. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with a Perth-based artist called Luke Fox. Thank you so much for listening.